Hey everyone, Lazy Ben, and welcome to a new YouTube video for my sci-fi gardening game. Been away for a few days, I've been on holiday with my family, so I'm back and I'm refreshed, and I'm ready for some game development. This week, it's all about fast travel, and if you don't know, fast travel is when you can walk the hero over to some kind of trigger and open a UI to pick where you want to go next. This means the player doesn't have to spend time walking across the map, they can just travel to it instantly. If you don't know, I stream everything on Twitch at Lazy Ben Games, and you can find the VODs for the stream on my second YouTube channel, Lazy Ben Live. So I'm going to get a cup of coffee and I'm going to open Visual Studio and start work for the week. So it's a couple of hours later now and I've stopped work for a break. I just thought I'd take you through the code. So fast travel in the game is going to be kind of like Star Trek, where you beam down to different planets. There's going to be transporter rooms dotted throughout the space station and at locations outside the space station, so like planets or asteroids, and you'll be able to beam to them. So I've got two transporter rooms here that I've defined, Transporter Room 1 and Transporter Room 2, and they're just the names. And then the second structure is the fast travel station itself. This is just what I'm calling the area of the map where you go to fast travel. And you can see that it's made up of an ID and the kind, so whether it's Transporter Room 1 or Transporter Room 2. And there's this Boolean value is discovered, because you're going to be able to discover fast travel locations as you progress through the game. Of course, you'll only be able to travel to a fast travel location if you've previously discovered it. So that's what this Boolean does here. And the final thing is the fast travel controller, and that's the main system, and that's what you interact with through the code to be able to fast travel. The second part of the system that I've been working on this morning is the event, and it's going to be a broadcast event like we've seen in the previous videos with crafting and things. And the event for broadcasting fast travel is this G event broadcast fast travel. You can see it needs a trigger ID, and that's going to be an area in the game level that I place using the editor, and that's going to tell the game that this trigger is going to be responsible for broadcasting when the player wants to fast travel. And the second parameter is the fast travel station kind, which is the previous enum that I talked about before with Transporter Room 1 and Transporter Room 2. I've popped into the game's editor now, and I just wanted to show you how I make these fast travel triggers. So you can basically mark down anywhere in the world with these rectangles here. And I've marked an area over here with this little bicycle. I've associated this area with an event, which is the event we just defined, the broadcast fast travel event. And it's rigged up now to broadcast when the player goes inside this blue square. So if I pop over into the game, you can see that this is the rectangle that we just made in the editor, and I can walk over to it with the hero. We can get this little fast travel pop-up, so the event is now being broadcast from the trigger. And the idea is I'll press a key, nothing happens at the moment, but I'll press a key and it'll open up some UI and it'll give a list of locations where the hero can fast travel. So for the next couple of hours I'm going to be working on the UI for fast travel, and when I have something to show I'll report back. Alright, it's a little bit later. I'm making really good progress today, I think. So I've got a basic UI set up. So now if I walk over to this trigger and we press the E key, we're going to spawn this UI, and you can see that the UI is made of two different areas. There's the world map, which I'm not going to work on today, maybe to the back end of the week we'll work on it. The idea behind that is it's going to show all the locations that the player can fast travel to on the map as like pinpoints, so you'll be able to select them. And on the right here you can see that there's a list of locations. So all that's displaying now is Transporter Room 2, because we're currently in the UI for Transporter Room 1. And the idea is I can click this and then we get this modal pop-up here, and then do we want to fast travel, yes or no. So I'm going to spend the next hour or so implementing what happens when you click this button. I think I'm just going to get something really simple set up. I just want the player to be able to travel to Transporter Room 2. So we need to set up where Transporter Room 2 is first. And it's going to work pretty similarly to the way that the player travels between rooms normally. So a fade in, fade out right now. But the idea is as the week goes on, I want to work on an effect like some kind of Star Trek style beam effect or something like that. So we're in a different location in the world now, and here I've set up Transporter Room 2. It's pretty much the same as Transporter Room 1, except when you open the UI, you can see that we can travel to Transporter Room 1 now. And what's more, if you click on it and you accept the fast travel, you can see that this green square appears and then it fades out and he appears in Transporter Room 1. So that's the basics of fast travel sorted. It doesn't look very good, it's just a green square. You can go back towards Transporter Room 2 as well. But the idea is that this green square is going to be replaced by some cool laser effect. It's the end of the day now, so I think I'm going to go home and I'm going to kind of think about what I want this effect to look like. I want it to look quite Star Trek-y, you know. I was thinking maybe a laser that like shoots into the sky and then the hero disappears and follows the laser. Some like energy beam follows the laser. But I'll think about it tonight and I'll get a good night's sleep and I'll come back tomorrow and we'll work on that effect. Good morning everyone, it's Tuesday now. Just got into the office and made a massive cup of coffee and I'm going to try my hand at some graphics programming today. I haven't done graphics programming in maybe 6 to 8 months, so I'll have to spend some time familiarising myself with that, writing shaders. And the goal for the day is to get some kind of graphical laser beam effect. You know, when on Star Trek when the captain says energize and they beam to the spaceship. I want some kind of effect like that. So I'm going to get to work and we'll see where it goes. It's a little bit later now and I've been hard at work trying to get something that looks good. And I've written this shader here. There are 5 different components to it and I've got them all laid out, so we'll build the effect up. The effect happens over time. The idea is that the effect opens and then the hero beams up into space and then we transition to the new location and the hero beams back down from space. So I'll begin by commenting out this line and we'll see the first part of the effect, which is basically just an orb that floats up into space, and this is meant to represent the hero flying up into space on his fast travel journey. And then if I comment out this, we'll see the next stage of the effect, which is the orb added into this kind of green background effect. So yeah, that's the background of the effect. And then if I comment out the next line, we'll see the orb and the background added into the next effect, which is just a solid white line, basically, solid whitey green line that comes down the middle of the effect. And then if I comment out the next line, we'll see the next stage, which is some kind of wavy green line that's added over the top of everything else. And then if I comment out this line, we'll see the final effect, which adds in some noise and some clouds. Then we are left with this effect here, which I think looks quite good. You know, it looks like you could be, you know, transporting, flying up into space or something like that. So I'm going to take a quick break and then I'm going to get back to work, and I want to actually put this in the game at the fast travel stations. Okay, so I'm in the game now at Transporter Room 1 and I've managed to put in the fast travel effect that I showed you earlier. I've put it in 2 places, so the NPCs can use it. So Jenny's going to demonstrate. There she goes, she's off. And the player can use it as well. The player uses it through the normal UI that I demonstrated earlier. And now if I click Transporter Room 2, we can beam all the way to it. And then I reverse the effect to show them coming back down like that. So I think it looks pretty good, you know. Both the player and NPCs can use it, so you imagine in the full game you'll have NPCs beaming in and out of the room and stuff like that. I think it looked pretty cool, so I'm really pleased. It's the end of the day, and we basically completed everything that I wanted to do today. And tomorrow I want to work more on this world map. There's currently nothing at all in the game about a world map yet, but I want to be able to click these locations on a map. I think the player will find that more intuitive rather than remembering every single location by name. And so I'm going to go home, I'm going to chill out. I'm going to paint my house tonight actually, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'll be back tomorrow. We'll get on with the world map. So I've just sat down at my desk. It's Wednesday morning. Thought I'd show you my streaming setup. This is how it normally looks when I stream. And today I'm going to start working on the world map. So I'm quite excited. I've no idea where it's going to go. All I know is that I want to be able to click on the world map and have the player fast travel to the locations that they click on. So I'll report back in a little bit and we'll see where this goes. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. All right. So it's the end of the day now and I've just finished streaming. I didn't actually get that much done today. Spent the morning debugging some things to do with lighting, and I fixed a couple of other bugs to do with the crafting system that I built last week. But I did manage to get a start on the world map. If we go to the fast travel bay, we can see that this area now is populated with like this map that I can drag around, and currently nothing geographically lines up with what's in the world. I think I'm going to work on that tomorrow. But I added in dragging around the map with the mouse, and you can put locations on the map and the locations correspond to locations in the real world. So we're in Transporter Room 1, and if we click on Transporter Room 2, we can fast travel there as if we'd have clicked this button up here. And that's really all I got done today. So quite a light day of new features, but it's okay. Tomorrow, I want to work on actually placing these things in locations that make sense. So I'm in a room with an NPC here, and you can see there is code in the engine for a map because I've got the radar in the bottom. So I was thinking of applying that same code here. So the hero would be at the center, and then there'd be everything around you. But I'm going to work on that tomorrow, I think. You know, make this map make a little bit more sense. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to call it a day and head home and get something to eat, think about this problem some more, and I'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. Good morning everyone, it's Thursday, it's the last coding day of the week for me before I edit this video tomorrow, and I've just got in, it's 9:30, just done the school run. My plan for today is just finish off this world map stuff, so I'm going to get straight to work, I'm going to turn the stream on and we'll see where it goes. It's a little bit later on and I've just finished implementing a couple of nice to have features really for the world map. So this was the world map as we left it yesterday, except I've broken each transporter room into a group now, and I've added a couple more test transporter rooms, and you can fast travel as before, and also I added this locate on map button, so if you click on this it will just go to transporter room 2 and highlight where it is. This is going to be quite handy in the full game, I think, because there might be lots of different transporter rooms and you might not remember exactly where they are by name, so it would be handy to, you know, have them on a map and just be able to locate it straight away, so you could be like, oh yeah, that's transporter room 3, now let's fast travel to it. And then I also implemented zoom, so you could just zoom out with the map. The next step I think it's going to be quite a tough problem. I need to actually make these transporter rooms geographically correct in relation to each other, because, you know, right now, like I said, I'm just hard coding where these are on this map. They have no relevance to the actual in-game world. And I think the approach I'm going to try is I'm going to try and automatically generate the world map from the level data. So if we go to this room, we can see this trigger here warps to the room immediately to the left of it, and then this warps back to the room which is immediately to the right of that. So logically, this makes sense. But the way that the world works is that every room is centered around 0.00. So there's no real way to know which room is to the left of which room or which room is to the right of which room, because they've all got their own coordinate space around 00. The only thing I have is that this pink square is to the left in this room, and it warps to a pink square to the right of the next room. So I need to somehow generate the information to say which room is next to which room based on just the information of where the warps are and where they warp to. So that's going to be quite challenging. So I'm going to work on that for the afternoon, and I'll get back at the end of the day and I'll see how far I get. I don't think I'll finish it today, I might do, but I'll report back at the end of the day and I'll show you the progress that I've made. Alright, get it. So now we can get... Okay, so it's the end of the day on Thursday, and I've run out of time basically. I've not finished completely this off, but I have a system working which automatically generates the world map. So I'll take you through it now. We're in the game. This is the bounds of the room that we're currently in. It knows that next to it there's another room, and this rectangle with a red outline means it warps to this rectangle with the yellow outline, and then it goes to this room, and then it sees there's a warp here which warps up to this room, and then this one is a warp which warps across to this room, and you can see that these are all the rooms just drawn out as white rectangles. So I'll just go back to the first room and I'll open the map, and you have to imagine that I can scale all of this down into here, so the rectangles will be here as well. And then hopefully we'll have a visual representation of the world. It'll just be rectangles at the moment, and when we do a second pass on the world map, I might put some more interesting like artwork in that represents the rooms. But you'll be able to see which room is connected to which room, in the same way that you can see that this room is connected to this room. So I didn't quite get finished, but we're over halfway there. And unfortunately I have to stop for this week now, because tomorrow, Friday, I'm going to have to edit this video so I can put it out. So that's everything for this week's devlog. We did quite a lot of work this week. We managed to implement the fast travel system, and we did a cool graphics effect so you can beam up into the sky and then beam back down. We made NPCs use the fast travel system, which is kind of cool, and then we started work and we nearly finished work on the world map so you can select places that you want to fast travel to. Tune in next week and I'll continue working on fast travel. The plan is to get the world map rendering in the fast travel menu. If you like what you see, then please give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.